What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week. You know the drill. We take one character and give you all that good info that you would dying to know about this character. I'm your host tonight. I'm Sal the Slab Guy. Down below is Dan the Man Kelly. Over there is the Ric Flair of comics. And of course, right there next to me is the master builder himself, J-Dub. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing all right.
Ready for tonight's show? Gary, you don't have an action figure of Mera?
I don't know. That one.
Got one? You got
That
two?
one. I got that one.
Oh, the Red Lantern one?
Mhm.
Nice.
And got that one.
There you
nice
go.
Cleaver. Nice cleaver.
Hello. Hello. Thank you very
Nope,
much.
buddy.
All right. Let's go ahead and get some business out of the way before we start the show. Once again, like I said, I'm Sal the Slab Guy. I'm your host. And when I'm not here on Codex, head on over to YouTube. Check me out on Sal's Comic Corner or on the street corner begging for money sometimes because that's how it is. Or under Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. Dan, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at?
Yeah, check me out on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art.
There you go. Got to get over there and give him a like and buy some of his art.
Yes.
Come on.
Good art.
All right. Next to him is the Ric Flair of comics, the library, the curator of comics right there, Uncle Gary. Where can they find you, buddy?
Comic Logic, baby. You come see Comic Logic. Every Wednesday you can catch me, catch Mike, Mighty Mike Harbor, who you see on this station, Rob Kalin. We are getting our 4-color ink, getting our fix, making us strong, baby. You got 4-color ink in there, put it straight in the veins. Reading comic books make you strong. Do a few push-ups too, but come see us there. And I guess we also should check out Comic Character of the Day, which is under new management.
Yeah.
I don't even know the details of this. I was just told that Dan the Man over there and Sal our pal, are taking over that site. So from the Archduke. Wow.
Yep.
Kevin decided he didn't really tell us why. He just said that he
had other priorities.
Going other priorities right now. I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know. No. He's still on the site. We'll post stuff. He's just not going to be like running it and posting the character of the day anymore.
All right.
Well, we shall adapt and keep going.
Absolutely. And Uncle Gary, where can they find us at?
Oh, well, what you have to do here is because all of us here at the Codex Station, you can tell. I mean, just look at Jamie. He's positively dripping with all the socials. Look at that. It's just emanating from him and just in a pattern that's going out among the masses. So we're dripping with the socials, and what we would like to do more than anything else is give them to you, baby.
Indeed. All right. J-Dub, the Master Commander himself. Why don't you tell us a little about you and the Codex Station?
Hi, I'm J-Dub. Welcome to the Codex Station. We talk about comics and stuff, and it's like a really good time. So you guys stick around. Hit that like button. Go find us at thecodexstation.com. You guys get some merch, meet the team, let us know what you like and don't like, and so much more. You can find us dripping with the socials there as well, where you can click and just go to one of them. Thanks to the Slab Fairy himself.
Oh, no, it's this guy down here, Mr. IT himself. He's the one that developed that website.
Mr. It, yeah.
It just emanated out of his mind onto the internet. He has a direct Wi-Fi connection to the internet through his brain.
This is the only thing that's wired. Is what's in here. I can't do the computer stuff.
Like, if you ever drink coffee, does your head just explode?
I don't drink coffee.
That's my point.
I don't drink any hot drinks.
No?
Oh.
No, it'd be zero, and I'd walk out the door in the old days with a Diet Mountain Dew and a Pop-Tart as the breakfast of champions.
That goes long way, trust me.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Don't even drink sodas now. I'm so boring. Water, milk, juice, and I drink. I think one, not quite a soda, but like carbonated something or other, and that's it.
Oh, well,
what's up, Boosh?
What's up, Boosh? Speaking of Comic Logic, I think we need to start a new hashtag trend. Hashtag get Rob on Codex, just to get him for an episode.
Well, we would love to have Rob for an episode, and you know what? When he gets back, Rob is leaving for Australia on Saturday for his brother's service.
Yes,
because his brother died, and they're going to have the service there. So he'll be in Australia for 2 weeks. So thoughts and prayers are out to Rob and his mother.
Definitely.
And
Safe trip, Rob, if you're watching this.
Yep, and his brother's widow and their infant child. So it's just a really sad situation. But yeah, when Rob gets back, we need to try to get him on an episode. I tell you what, we've talked about doing revisits at times, and I think when we have that. Because Jamie, you're with us every other show, right?
As of right now, I'm on every.
Oh, every show. Okay, great. Well, because I think what's cool on a revisit is to have two people on that haven't done one before.
Yes.
And if we could get guest stars, Rob's favorite character is the Flash. It would be awesome to have a revisit of the Flash.
Which Flash is your favorite?
Pretty sure it's Barry.
Then that'd be
we did Barry, but we haven't done an episode for any of the other ones yet.
Yeah.
Jay or Wally or any of the
Barry is his guy. Yeah.
Then I'd step down for that one.
Yeah. So I think that's the fun thing to do with the revisits, because I was thinking about that when we do a revisit, to have 3 of the 4 that have already done one. I think that just
Hey, Mom.
that
Jamie's
makes
mom.
that only adds one fresh take. So I think that's how.
What's up, Adam?
Hey, Adam. So we will see.
Silk or Spider Gwen.
Silk or Spider Gwen. I'll gladly step down for that episode. I have no.
He could take my spot.
Yeah. It's like the Snake Eyes episode.
You just give Adam
nothing to add.
Hey, man, do the episode.
Yeah.
It'll just be
Adam for us.
Adam and Sal.
Great. Did I ever get a day off? No.
No.
This is your baby.
Jamie's been editing and working his tail off.
And we got.
If I ever take a day off, you guys won't. You would have to I still have to do all the videos.
Look, we still got a great football weekend coming up. My team is still alive.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the heavyweight fight is Sunday night. The Ravens and the Buffalo. Ravens are favored in Buffalo. That's how awesome the Ravens are. That's the juggernaut that they are.
Yeah.
Super Bowl or bust for Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw some guy on Twitter that had put something up after the draft where he was saying that how Washington did such a bad job. He's like, they traded away a legit starting quarterback in Sam Howell, and then they missed on and they missed drafting the Drake May so that they could draft this guy who's worse than him, and all this is like and he said bookmark this tweet and come back in 8 months. So of course he's going to the Pro Bowl. His team just won 12 games and a playoff game. He's
13.
He's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. People are going back like, hey, we bookmarked it, we're back. And then he's saying, all right, yeah, this tweet looks awful now, but it'll look awesome. But he's still doubling down saying, but it's going to look great when he loses Cliff Kingsbury and it shows that he's really not that good. And Sam Howell is going to hook up with Ben Johnson and he's going to be awesome. It's like, dude, everyone's like, dude, just admit you don't know.
Yeah. Listen,
he will be.
He's definitely rookie of the year, and it is fantastic to have the poise that he has. And what's really cool about this weekend, we are 10-point underdogs. We got no pressure. We're just here playing ball. Whatever happens, happens. Playing with house money.
Playing with house money. That's the best way to think of it.
Yes.
We're further along. We're a couple years further along than anybody would have guessed. And Jane Daniels looks like he is something awesome. So I am thrilled beyond belief. And no matter what happens on Wednesday, I tell you this, they are 10-point underdogs, and Detroit is sure the better team. And I get the 10 points, but if that comes down to a fourth quarter game and it's a 1-score game, I bet there are going to be a lot of clenching of them butt cheeks up on the Detroit players and in those stands. Those fans have seen what this team has done 6 weeks in a row in the last minute. So,
yeah. How about as long as your kicker doesn't go out there sweating profusely like he did the last game? Oh my God, he was just
yeah, he looked like a meth head going out there. I know he said it was his OCD.
He has OCD, so I'm not going to make fun of a guy that's got a
I didn't know that.
he can't
But
help.
I was watching.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's like freaking.
Yeah, he has OCD, and he has to go through all those rituals. So,
Okay.
Look at that.
and he's
Brock
also the
Bowers.
sixth kicker. Let me tell you something.
Brock Bowers
has
any
been
other year
amazing.
would be runaway offensive rookie of the year. I mean, he broke Madden's record.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what happened in Boosh. They're not trading him.
No.
Oh, look. From what I understand, the Raiders offered 3 number ones for the second pick. Yes. Rodney, hey Rodney, thanks for showing up, brother. Oh yeah, what's up, my buddy? Rodney Robert art is upstairs, hanging in my library that you fellas have seen. Rodney Roberts is a stellar artist.
Okay.
He's done Star Wars cards, original art for them that's put in packs. And is it Transformers you have in a set right now? I can't remember. Rodney's got a new set where he's got original art that's out there too in a card set.
You should tell him to come down and pop his head in and say hi.
Rodney Roberts, give your information where people get in touch with you. Art Nerd, Rodney Roberts is awesome. So
all right, very good. Are you guys ready to start this show?
Yeah, why not?
Let's go ahead and kick this sucker off. We're going to get rid of that ticker. And let's go ahead and where are my things? There we are. Let's go ahead and kick it off. We'll see you guys in about a minute. What?
Life again. Bye.
Bye. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week, where we take one character, give you that deep dive on that character, the must-read stories, the badass moments, and so much more. I'm your host tonight, Sal the Slab Guy, as always, coming to you from the Slabatorium, where it's a cool, crisp 39 degrees. Down below is Dan the Man Kelly. Find him at Dan Kelly Art. Over there is Uncle Gary himself from the Library of Comics, the Ric Flair of comics, and of course, our Master Commander right there, J-Dub. How you guys doing? Are you ready to start this show?
Doing good. And of what you said, we're going to take a deep dive, and what a great character that can take a deep dive would be Mera.
I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. You said that.
All right, very good. Dan, why don't you start us off on this origin?
All right, well, her first appearance was in Aquaman number 11, volume 1 of it, back in October 1963, created by Jack Miller and Nick Cardy. She's had, her origin has been retconned a couple times over the years, but essentially, I believe the current one is she was the princess of this offshoot of Atlantis called Zebel. I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
I think it's Zebel, yeah.
Yeah. Who had been banished by Atlantis, eons ago because they were a prison colony. Basically, she was from underwater Australia. And her father sent her to assassinate Aquaman, the ruler of Atlantis. But when she got there, she fell in love with him, and and they ended up getting married. She rebelled against her people. She never told Aquaman about that until much later, and those crazy kids still found a way to make it work.
Yeah, they did.
As far as powers, she's got most of the same stuff as Aquaman. She's got the superhuman strength, speed, durability. She can breathe underwater. She doesn't have the telepathy that he has, but she has the water kinesis, where she can make hard water constructs. But I got to read the new issue of Aquaman because I know that Aquaman has that power now. So I got to read the new issue to see if she got anything else, and or if she just lost that.
Okay. All right. Very good. So let's go ahead and then jump on to what scenarios work best for.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was like, Gary's like, give me a minute to find the original first appearance.
Got it.
Of course you got it. Of course he's
I've
got
it. It's Aquaman 11. Of course I have it. I've got every issue of Aquaman.
It's your favorite character. Of course you got it.
Of course I got it. And though the one quibble, you said she's got the same stuff as Aquaman. She doesn't have the same stuff as Aquaman. I mean, she's got different stuff arranged a whole lot nicer.
It's nice and a pretty package.
But it's a very pretty redheaded package. So, you know.
There you go. All right, so let's move on to what scenarios work best and what works best for this character. Gary, why don't you go ahead and kick us off first on this?
You're right, Rodney. Do have multiple copies of things.
Upgraded copies.
Upgraded. I know, part of the sickness. Okay, so I think Mera works best when she is Aquaman's equal partner in ruling Atlantis, and she is maybe even I might even like her best when she was the queen of Atlantis, and Aquaman was where she was really the power. She is
Adam Scouting.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Yeah, good luck. You got 60,000 to go through. Let me know when you find it. She is badass in her own right, and her aquakinesis with her mastery over the water isn't, the people from Zebel. This is an ability that some of them develop. Nobody has developed it like she has. She can control it like no other, and her mastery of it is simply amazing. And her power levels are off the chart, as we'll discuss in some badass moments. I mean, my goodness, the thing that she has been able to do. But she's a force to be reckoned with, an equal partner. They are a true team as a husband and wife. And I think, and also she's also been a Justice League member. And I love that, she helps the league when needed and is a part of the league when needed. So I just think she works best when she is an equal partner with Aquaman, whether it's patrolling the seas or whether it's ruling Atlantis. And she holds her ground, and she is fierce.
Okay. I will go next on this one. I got to kind of echo what you said, Gary. I like her when she is an equal partner and working with Aquaman. I like it when she is being queen and doing the queen stuff of Atlantis. I think she's like a really fierce protector of Atlantis. She's like, she's just a fierce protector of Atlantis. She works really well as a leader, I think. And there was a couple of covers that I saw where I liked, but I didn't use in my covers. But she was like dragging like Harlequin by her hair, saying the Suicide Squad had to die, and she's dragging Harlequin by the hair, and you can see the background of Aquaman's face is like, ooh, okay.
True redhead. Don't mess with them.
We're not gonna mess with that. Yeah, and her power level is off the chart with her water kinesis. And I really think that the DCU movies that had her really showed that pretty well. I mean, I think that was really translated pretty well in the movie set. So I have to mention that as a
I do too.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely that's what I've got for her. So J-Dub, what works best for you?
So best way I could put this is I do agree but disagree at the same time. I do like her, and Aquaman paired together. I just think that she works best when her back's against the wall, like when her true power comes, when she can actually showcase herself. It's one thing to be like, okay, I can lean on Arthur, if need be, but when push comes to the shove, it's always going to be when she's able to use her abilities and to see what her abilities can actually do. There's been plenty of times throughout comics where they kind of, and pun intended, water down characters. But with her, she's next to Aquaman. She's always his right hand, always there. But she's that fierce, I'm just going to drag you around, make you wish you never came to Atlantis, never touched my family, Mera.
Very good.
Agree.
Very good.
I agree.
All right, Dan, how about you?
I mean, yeah, pretty much the same thing you guys said. She's, a good partner to Aquaman, not just in crime fighting, but, in life. I think she's a better politician than Aquaman is.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very much, I rule Atlantis and this and that, but every opportunity he's got, he's going off on some adventure, and she's the one that's like, no, you have to stay here to rule. So I think she's a better ruler of Atlantis. He made her an ambassador to the surface world for a while. I really liked when they were just actually kind of away from Atlantis and living in the lighthouse in Amnesty Bay, and her interactions with the people in the town. I really like that stuff. And yeah, and when she gets the chance to just be, a badass and not just be like, oh, this is my wife and she has superpowers too. But, when she shows up to, save him sometimes, and shows how much ass she can kick. And I really liked, the kind of, not really a team, but, the group of them that were together in Blackest Night, where it was like her and it was the Atom,
Mm-hmm.
and was it Flash and a couple of the characters. And it's like, all right, it's all people that have been in the Justice League, but it's not what you would think of as like the A team. But you look at it like, wow, it's, some good interactions. That's a lot of power there. They all each got a different colored ring, but I wouldn't mind seeing her in a team like that, where, she is a member of the Justice League, but wouldn't mind seeing her on a team like that where it's, okay, it's characters that are, I hesitate to say B team because, I love, characters like the Atom and Firestorm and some of them, but, some of the, not like the Trinity, for, or not the Big Seven for the Justice League, but like all the other ones.
I agree.
I agree with that too. That's good stuff.
Plus,
good stuff.
She's a hot redhead.
You can never go wrong with a hot redhead.
Yeah.
That's so true. That is so true. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to badass moments. And Gary, I'm going to let you kick this off again. What you got for badass moments?
All right. Let's go with our badass moments. Of course, I think when you research it, she's got more badass moments than you think she has. She's got quite a few. I think one of the most massive badass moments she has is in Brightest Day 20. There's a fight between the rebels from Zebel. See what I did there? The rebels from Zebel, Black Manta, and they were encroaching and attacking the surface world. And she takes an entire shoreline of water and raises it up like a giant, massive tidal wave, suspends it in animation, and then starts taking tendrils out of this tidal wave and starts taking all of the soldiers from Zebel and throws them back into the ocean, also with Manta, also with her sister, Siren, and just gets rid of them, takes them all out to sea. But just to see a whole shoreline lifted up by a tidal wave and thrown back into the ocean, I mean, that is power on an immense magnitude to be able to do that. And it was drawn so well, written so well. And she was pissed at this point. Aquaman in that fight had lost his hand. Manta had sliced his hand off. And so she was pissed. And she did that pretty amazing. In Aquaman Volume 7, Annual 2, it was there was a second story in that book where it was Mera responds to Wonder Woman's call to help round up some of these old creatures that had escaped from the pits the pits of hell that a lot of times the Amazons would keep locked up so they wouldn't hit the surface world. And this was in the Greek islands. And Mera shows up to help Wonder Woman. She says Arthur has affairs of the state today, so I get to play. And so they go to where they find these monsters or holed up, and they have been feeding off of humans. They've been luring humans there and just eating, their bones everywhere and wrecked ships everywhere. So they have been having a good old time. So they don't like the fact that their party's about to be broken up. So they attack both of them. And it's an overwhelming horde. And Mera realizes that she's not much help to Wonder Woman, on the beachhead, just fighting, enemies from all sides. So she says, I've got an idea. And she raises the water up, and they came in a vessel. There was a boat that she met Wonder Woman on, and they raised the boat up through her water kinesis powers. And then she tells Wonder Woman she knows how to stop this pretty quick. And she creates in the water a tunnel of air where she recedes the water. And she tells Wonder Woman, these are volcanic islands. You go hit that undersea lava vent. You're a heavy hitter. Hit them heavy. And so Wonder Woman knows what's going to happen. She goes down there. She breaks open the surface rock to the lava pits that are below, underneath the volcanic chamber. And at that point, as Wonder Woman comes out, Mera uses her water kinesis, rounds up all these creatures, funnels them in a water spout into the lava pit, and they're sealed up there. And as she's done all this, Wonder Woman grabs her and says that, basically that was, I can't imagine the exertion that took. And she says, I'll just be okay in a minute if you can just make sure nothing attacks me for a while. And she passes out, and Wonder Woman ends up carrying her, and holding her, and says, for a warrior like you, I've got your back. Don't worry, But it was just a great scene where Wonder Woman is carrying this unconscious Mera, who has, done this, massive task of controlling him. Now, the last one that I want to give is in this Aquaman Volume 1, The Trench, and it's issue let's see, I think it's issue 4 of this, and it's pretty much a solo Mera story. And she runs into trouble. She's going to get dog food because they're in the lighthouse in Amnesty Bay that Dan talked about, and they have a dog named Salty, and Salty needs dog food. So she's just going to the store to get some dog food, and the store manager, he gets overly friendly, and she tells him, watch your hands. He doesn't watch his hands, and she decides that wrist needs to be broken. You need a lesson to be learned. So she breaks his wrist. The police are called. They arrest her, and so she goes, very well. So they got her handcuffed in the back of the car, and as they're on their way, the police have another emergency, and it's a domestic dispute where a man has killed his wife, and he's got a gun to the head of his daughter. And we'll show you some, there's some pretty good scenes here. Mera's pretty regal and pissed off, and so she breaks the cuffs, gets out, and says, I'll handle this. And the man says, you're Aquawoman. Aquawoman, you're really Aquawoman? And she goes, what if I am? He goes, you can't do nothing to me. I have a gun, and you're a fish out of water. She said, a fish out of water. I don't know how Arthur can put up with this constant barrage of unappreciated and unoriginal comments. I won't do it. He says, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, huh? You're inland, lady. You're far from water. And her eyes start to glow. She goes, why does everyone think water is our weakness? Why is everyone on land so ignorant? The absence of water is not my weakness. It's all of yours. Your mouth is already dry. The water I'm pulling from you, thanks to me, you relatively haven't drank anything in a few hours. Now a single day without water. You'll feel fatigue now, headaches, muscle cramps. She says, go to hell. She goes, 2 days, erratic pulse, blurred vision, dementia, 3 days. And dude has collapsed at this point. The cop says, stop, you'll kill him. She goes, he's already killed this girl's mother and was ready to kill her. Who would mourn him? Who? So finally the girl that was being held, she goes, well, I would miss him. He is still my dad. And Mera says, I don't understand you people, any of you. And then she just leaves. But the way she's talking shit to him, dehydrating him for taking 3 days worth of hydration out of him, where he just crumpled to the ground and he's ready to die. I mean, that, I think, again, a lot of times I like to talk about small moments. That's just her dealing with one single dude and just just crumpling him on a
Well, you touched him.
massive. Yeah, didn't even touch him. But it just goes to show. I love the line. Why do you think the absence of water is my weakness? It's your weakness, and just takes all that. And the fact that she can manipulate, and she did that to a Flash, one of the Flash in an issue where she dehydrated him and he couldn't run anymore. But I mean, that's pretty badass to be able to affect somebody on a molecular level like that by dehydrating them, because our bodies are made up of so much water.
Right.
We never think about that, but that is an awesome way to showcase how strong she can be. And great writing on that. Jeff Johns, kudos.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do I have to give me cotton now? Yeah, there you go.
That's funny. All right, Dan, why don't you go next?
Yeah, so I got Blackest Night number 6. Like I said before, she was a fairly prominent character in that. And in 6, that's when she gets her Lantern ring. And you might kind of think, oh, is she going to get a Green Lantern ring? No. Is she going to get, the Sapphire one for love? No. She's going to get the one for Rage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because she was so pissed at that point.
Yeah. So it's not, because you would think, oh, okay, she'll get Hope or she'll get the green one or the love one. Like, nope, she's getting Rage, and she's just raging out and going off on people. So, that was pretty badass that she was chosen for that. I also have Aquaman issue 66. I think it was volume 7 or 8. Was from the late 2000s. Oh, what's up, Pam? Oh, and
hey,
Chris.
Pam, how you doing?
Hey, Pam.
Where Aquaman had to go down and had to go find these fire trolls and get them to help for this crisis they were in, and he's getting his ass handed to him, and Mera just shows up. She's like, all right, I'll help you. Just gives them like one big blast, and then they all just fall in line, and they're just there waiting, and they were so impressed with her display of power that they just fell in line, and like they're serving her, and she's like, okay, let's go. And Aquaman's about ready to get his ass kicked by all these, and she shows up, one blast, and then all right, let's go.
Okay, we're in.
Let's follow the hot redhead.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Justice League 24, this is when Aquaman is out of the picture, and the League shows up because she's messing with the tide and the water, and and like basically getting ready to drown these cities because she's trying to break through this barrier to get to Aquaman. The League's trying to stop her, and of course it's the misunderstanding where hero fights hero. But you know what, comic fans, people bitch about it, but we all love it.
We love it.
She shows up, and she just demolishes the League, like effortlessly too. It's Flash, Cyborg, Batman. You see him like pop out of the water and just like he's gonna come up, and she's like, "Oh, Arthur warned me about you," and she just takes them all out. And then they talk to her, and she explains the situation. Then they have to go to some other crisis, and they're like, "Why don't you come along?" And that's when she joined the Justice League after handing all their asses to him. And Batman was actually the one that suggested, like, why don't we bring her to help? Because always a master strategist, he's looking at it like, damn, if she did that to all of us when she's already not at her nowhere near her strongest because she's just been, raging, fighting against this barrier, she'll be a good one to have. And it's funny too, going back to the Blackest Night, that they gave her a Red Lantern ring because the actress that played her in real life definitely had a Brown Lantern ring.
Oh, very funny.
She really pooped the bed on that one.
Hey, be careful. Amber heard what you said. So, you know what? That was when she was trying to break through the crown of thorns, and that was a really cool storyline where Arthur had been trapped in Atlantis, and Corin Rath, who had ascended to power and had tapped into dark magics, and this crown of thorns is this barrier that is raised over Atlantis, and she can't break in, and Aquaman can't break out, and just her persistence trying to break in. She was pretty badass that whole time, where she would not quit, and she would not quit, and breaking through that barrier to help Arthur. So it ended up, that between her efforts and his efforts from the inside, hers from the outside, they ended up saving the day. But it was a long storyline that was really, really quite good and quite inventive. So that was a great storyline. But you're right, she handed the Justice League their ass.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, Jamie, you want to go next? Then I'll.
I mean, I really don't have to. Everyone stole mine.
No, I'm almost in that boat. I got one. I got
one. I seriously have one. I did have the trench scene that Uncle Gary had. The coolest thing about that is also reminded me of Magneto when he pulls the iron out of everybody. It's the same effect. You don't think about that when it comes to those type of abilities where you just pull water out of someone and what it's going to do to affect them between a day or their life. Just to make them crippled and fall. And she's just like
it was nothing.
You guys couldn't do that?
Yeah, like it was nothing. She did.
Yeah.
I did have Blackest Night number 6 as well that Dan had, and that mine was more towards the fight with Necron's forces, like saving Atlantis, but still having that just to have the ability of the Red Lantern ring. Like we've seen what it did to Guy, we've seen what it did to Supergirl. Like her having that is even scarier. I don't know, like to be able to have that power and just be underwater at that point, I'd be like, I'm done.
well, she has so much anger because Arthur was dead at that point, and her child had been killed, murdered too. So she had that going on too. So I mean, she has a lot to be angry about, and she's a redhead. So I mean
that's
like
not even gonna touch any more of that. But I also have from, and let me see if I got it on my notes here. Volume 7, issue 24. Her basically dismantling the Dead King's army. Like it just showed how fierce of a warrior she truly is. Like Dan talks about that scene from Justice League. It's the same thing. She just runs through people, and I want more of it. Like these moments are just I feel like when there's certain characters, writers go, let's just wait, and then you get that one panel, kind of like with New 52 with Aquaman, the whole raising the sea, or is that was Justice League, raising everything out of the sea is like, this is what I do. That's that she has too, but they're so seldom.
Yeah. Yep.
So those are mine.
Okay, very good. I also had the Blackest Night. I had 2 in Blackest Night, but I had the my main one was getting the Red Lantern ring because I liked that transition. She turned really into certainly a badass in there, but I liked her role throughout Blackest Night altogether. I mean, that I could classify that as one big badass moment from start to finish. I really could.
I could too. Yeah.
I also had the tidal wave that you had, Gary, with the tendrils coming out. That was just freaking amazing. I also I had as a backup the Wonder Woman causing the volcanic eruption, where the breaking the lava out from the seabed floor.
That was a cool story, wasn't it?
That was.
It was just like a 6 or about an 8-page story, but so good.
All right. So the one that I have that no one else had, thankfully I got one in. Maybe next week I'll go first. Yeah. It was in this was in the miniseries where she's Mera, Queen of Atlantis. It's issue 1. She wipes the floor up with eel by using her water kinesis as almost like a spider web, like a sticky type substance, and then grabs him like that and just starts winging him into the docks and underneath the ocean, and just beating the crap out of him under the water, and then just drops him on the shoreline, and what goes on with the rest of the story. But I like that. That was just pretty wicked, and the writing to that was amazing because it showed her, okay, she's she's in the fight. She's kind of worried that what's going on, but then she's her, I guess her skill set or her training kicks in, and she starts using her powers to take control of the fight, and then all of a sudden her confidence level starts coming up, and then she's like, okay, I'm in control of this situation, not him. I'm doing this, and this is what's going to happen. And man, she just mops the floor up with him.
Well, she was severely weakened at that point too. She was recovering from injuries, so she wasn't supposed to be exerting herself at all. So that's one reason why her confidence was so low.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just love the way it was written, because it showed her gaining that confidence back as she started using her powers, even though she was weakened at that point. So, badass moment for me. Badass moment for me.
I've got another one from Blackest Night too. Somebody said it was one of the reasons she has a red ring was because her child was killed by Manta. Yeah. So there was a Black Lantern version of her child that was sent to her to mess with her, and she just obliterated it. Yeah. There was no sentimentality. It didn't shock her. It didn't scare her. It didn't make her go, "Oh my God, my baby." She just freaking obliterated it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was harsh, and didn't even think twice about it. It didn't affect her. I mean, she just mowed it down. So I mean that was pretty badass. And I will make redheaded cracks tonight. I'm married to a redhead, so I'm allowed.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have the card.
That's right.
Yeah. Very good.
I've earned it.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. All right, so moving on to our next segment, which is critiques and criticisms and stuff that we don't like. I'll go first on this one. There's not too much I don't like about her. I wish she was more prominent in a lot more stories. I mean, she has a good, she had some good roles, like we said, Blackest Night and a few other things. But I like to see more of that. I want to see more of it actually by herself. Like, she doesn't really have to always be backing up Aquaman, even though they do work well and pair well together. I want to see more solo stories with just her, and it could be almost anything. Protecting Atlantis, fighting something on the shoreline, doesn't matter. She always hated that kid.
That's wrong. Who was that?
That's wrong.
Who was that?
That was Chris.
Chris is on. I forgot to text Chris.
Yeah.
That sounded like a Chris comment.
It did. It was. So that's what I want to see. That's the only thing I don't like. I want to see more of her as a solo series. So, all right, Dan, why don't you go next?
Yeah, about the same. I mean, they've kind of, they've retconned her origin a few times, and while I like the whole Zebel thing and that, it just, it's not just her, but a lot of characters just retconning origins and changing this and that. Like, it's done too much, and like you said too, she's kind of an underused character. She really didn't come into her own until Jeff Johns brought her back. Like Peter David used her a little bit, but at that point he had
Dolphin.
He had Dolphin that was with Aquaman, and he was kind of building up that romance. So Mera was just kind of there a little bit. But yeah, she only had her own series one time. It only ran for 4 issues. And it's I'd like to see her more, and they need to stop flip-flopping them with, like, oh, they're ruling Atlantis, and now that now they're not. Oh, they're ruling Atlantis, and now they're not. And they're ruling Atlantis, and and they're against Atlantis, and they're against Atlantis, but they're for Atlantis. Like, just make up your goddamn mind. Either they're ruling it or they're not, but let's just put them in place and leave them there for a significant amount of time.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
All right, Gary, how about you?
So I really dug it when I liked it when she was the queen, and that they had Atlantis run by that motherhood, that matriarchal group of high-seeing women, they wanted her to be the queen, which I really thought was kind of cool. So I like it when her or Arthur are ruling Atlantis. What I don't like about it is when they split them up, when they're not together as a pair. The Crown of Thorns thing was different because they were a pair, they were just split apart. But like in the Peter David run of Aquaman, which I liked very much, I wanted him to be with Mera. It's kind of like Peter. Peter should only Mary Jane. You should be with Mary Jane, right?
Yeah, right.
So Aquaman and Mera need to be together. They are a couple.
Mary Jane tonight.
They are a team. What'd you say?
I said I think Chris is with Mary Jane tonight.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not commenting on any of that, and Chris is allowed to be. Chris served his country in combat. He can be with Mary Jane every damn night. So there we go. But anyway, I think that I think that they just need to be a couple. It's like Peter, it's like Peter and Mary Jane got to be together. This is a couple that should always be together. I know every now and then you're gonna, they're gonna try to ramp up the drama. I'm not sure why Peter David didn't want to use Mera, but after he left the book, Mera came back and Mera was a part of it. They were the royal couple again. So I mean, I still enjoyed the Peter David issues, but it's just they're better together. Ruling. So it's just. They're icons, and they have to be together. So that's where I like her. And I back when she was first created, like many female characters were, they were just arm candy, right? So I don't like that version of her, but that's way, way, way in the past, so it's not even worth commenting on it. That's not worth commenting on either. That's a fact of life.
Well, when she was introduced. Because she was introduced, in Aquaman 11 and in Aquaman 18, they were married. That's pretty quick courtship, even by comic standards. And that's the first ever, if you want to call it on-page superhero wedding, where you actually saw two superheroes getting married to each other.
And
Aquaman 18.
And what was even bigger scandal? Less than 9 monthly issues later, Aquababy was born. So there's a little scandal there. It wasn't the full 9 issue break.
What happens in Atlanta stays in Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I'm not exactly sure when Aquababy came around. I was just fun in there. But yeah, they were married pretty quickly. He knew what he wanted.
Yep.
So we went for it. Catch of the day. Catch of the day.
Catch of the day.
Your example, the arm candy thing, it was pretty clear, when they introduced her, this is what it's for, that, to give Aquaman a wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was one of the first superheroes to get married like that. Absolutely. The courtship of Aquababy's father.
All right, Jamie, what do you got for critiques?
Yeah, so mine would be when she's more used as like a sidekick role to Aquaman, or put in the more of a I do like when she's like helping rule Atlantis, and don't get me wrong, that's awesome, especially when she's queen. I don't like when she's just full politics. It just drives me insane because she's so much more than just that. She's good at it. She knows how to run it, but I feel like you're just not utilizing her then. You're just holding her back and not pairing her with like Arthur or another team or sending her out on her own. It just doesn't make sense to me. I can deal with some political stuff with her, but I can't do it every time.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's valid.
Fair points. All right. So let's go on to our next segment is top covers. And Jamie, I've got yours ready to go first. You want to go first, Jamie?
I guess, yeah. Thanks for thinking of me.
Oh, all the time. There we go.
I hope it's not all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Okay, so I'm going to start off on the far right because Sal earlier just took mine right away. It's Aquaman 40. She's obviously dragging Harley by her hair and is stating suicide's got to die. And you got Arthur screaming in the background, can you just hold on for a second so we can talk about this? You don't have to seriously kill them. These are Batman villains, if you really think about it. But just the fierceness in her eyes and just how Harley looked just if you're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry to steal that one on you, but that was
you're good. As soon as you said that, if you watch this back, as soon as you see my face go, seriously, Sal? All the covers. Seriously?
Wait till we get the top stories, Jamie. You're gonna love me.
That's fine. I'm going last for those then. But the first one I have all the way to the left is Mera, Queen of Atlantis. This is actually issue 1. I found the trade for it, but I just love the her sitting on almost like a throne of water, essentially, being lifted up, nice. Coming out, and I mean, God, how this is drawn is just amazing. My middle one is Aquaman number 26. it's just something about the fierceness in this, like the water wrapped around her, the way she looks, like just the demeanor alone is like, I'm not gonna mess with that because I like life. So
Yeah.
That one all the way on the left, from her own series, the artist kind of drew her to look like Jane Krakowski there.
A little bit. Is that now? That's Art German.
yeah,
That's
that's
Art Germ. Yep. All right. Very good. Very good.
And
All right.
I was a gay. I would call her H2O. Oh man, that's good. That is very good, Boosh. Oh man.
Well, you know what, Adam, you're in luck because none of these covers, at least the ones Jamie had, and I don't think the ones I have, they're none of them are real pricey.
Your dollar bin bargain on those ones.
Yeah,
definitely. The Queen of Atlantis one. The Queen of Atlantis one I know is expensive because I've always wanted to buy it.
Yeah, that one's a little bit more because it's Art Germ, but not terrible though.
No,
well, that's the trade though, right?
Yeah, you can get that's the trade. You can obviously get that, but like I said, if you just want the first issue like that, it's a little bit there.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to my covers then. So look at that, boom. So yep, I have the Art Germ one. I took the Virgin variant because I like that one.
Virgin.
Yeah, I know, but still, I like that one. I like just like Jamie said, she looks like she's sitting on a throne of water, and that's freaking amazing. Art Germ always does good stuff. So there in the middle, I've got Justice League number 24. This is the B version. The cover artist was Nick Bradshaw for this one, but I like how she's front prominent. The depth on this, or depth perception on this, is really pretty cool with the trident almost right in your face, and everybody else in the background is just, I don't know. They're just I feel like minor characters in the background to her being front and center and prominent and looking bold like that. So the last one I have on the far left is Aquaman number 10. This one is I'm sorry. This is the one done by no, I'm sorry. I almost made a mistake. That middle Justice League was Nick Bradshaw. This one right here for 10 is also the B version. This is Joshua Middleton.
Yeah, Middleton did great covers for them.
Yeah, she looks like she's going up the water, like heading to the surface. But she's got the goldfish just surrounding her, which is just pretty cool. I love that, and it has that underwater look to it, like the under the sea type of look to it. I like that.
Where was that, Sal?
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Dan, you are next. There you go.
All right, so I've got the Sal had the B cover. I got the A cover on the left of Justice League 24. That's the one that I had in my badass moment where she just handled business with the league, and you see her doing that right here. Like I said, she took out Batman and Flash and Cyborg and both of the Green Lanterns. She just swatted them away, and so I love that you see that happening on the cover. The middle one, Aquaman 6. I love the layout, how she is front and center in it. The Mera Unleashed. She looks like she's pissed. She's about ready to beat some ass. I like how the art did the blue water kind of glow in her eyes.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the issue where she drained that dude and dehydrated him.
Yeah,
and broke the other guy's wrist that touched her, and she told him to watch his hands. So that is a kick-ass issue.
And then the one on the end is from Justice League 242. The always popular Detroit team. But
isn't that Archduke Kevy's favorite?
Yeah, it's Rob's favorite.
Oh, it's Rob's favorite. Okay,
Rob Spittle's favorite.
Yeah.
But ignore the heads on the borders. Many of whom do not deserve to be league members. But I just like how we have all these covers where she's looking badass and she's looking regal. And she's kicking ass. I like the fact that her and Aquaman just look happy. It's a classic, cover, great art. And just the fact that they're both happy and kind of carefree.
Yeah.
They had been separated for a long time when this came up, and they were reunited. So that's just a beautiful cover. That's Chuck Patton, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, very good. Good cover, Stan. Let's Uncle Gary, you are next.
All right.
Here you go.
All right, here we go. So the one on the right that we've seen, that's the Aquaman 26. That's the A cover by Stefan Sajic, I guess is how we pronounce it. And like Jamie said, that is just fierce. And I was choosing between that and the one Dan just had for the Aquaman 6 that was by Ivan Reyes that was so badass. But it was between the two of them. And in both of those, you don't mess with that. You don't mess with that at all.
I'm so happy you tried to pronounce the artist's name because I was like, I am not doing this.
Yeah, I think it's Stefan Sajic. And then on the far left, I love that cover by Martin England and Howard Shum.
Yeah.
It's Aquaman 12. That's when they were estranged, and she comes back to find Aquaman and Dolphin in bed, and she says, "Oh, is this affairs of the state?" and then there was a great cat fight between Mera and Dolphin. But that's just a great. I just think that's a great cover. Just badass. Nothing but attitude. Sitting on the throne. Got his trident there, So I just dig the attitude.
Pressing the trident, and while she's, biting her
finger
and giving the sultry look.
Yep. So that's how I like my redheads, just like that. Not, just a big ball of trouble. Yep. So, those B covers. I love Elongated Man's jaw dropped on that one, which was extended. And then so Dan and I had talked, and I knew he was going to do that JLA cover because I had that because I wanted to have a cover of Aquaman and her together. And I was debating between the two, but since he was going to use that one, I wanted to use the other one that I debated. And that's Aquaman 33, Volume 6. And that is Patrick Gleason and Christian Alme. And Gleason is such a really good artist, and I really dig his work. And I actually have a statue that's based on that cover right there that is really cool. But I think that's just a great moment between the two of them, and I love that cover. So
yeah, that's a great cover.
Love it. So I those are my three awesome covers with Mera. I think everybody chose great covers.
I got all three of yours on the spinner rack behind me, Gary.
Nice. Nice. Yep. There we go.
And that one.
There you go.
Excellent.
That run of Aquaman was good too. The one with Gleason was the artist and Arcudi was the writer. That was a really good run.
Oh, it sure was. It really was.
That's when they did the Sub Diego stuff. I really enjoyed that.
Right. That was a very really good storyline. Very, very inventive, very trippy. Yeah, the whole city of San Diego, or half the city of San Diego, got submerged, and the residents were injected with a formula that allowed them to breathe underwater, and so it was a whole new colony that Aquaman had to go help them get their sea legs, so to speak.
When they introduced a new Aqua Girl in it, who was a really fun character for a few years, and she was on Teen Titans, and then they just, I think it was when they did New 52 that she just got wiped out of existence, never to be seen again.
I know. It was a very interesting character. I liked her a lot, too.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great segue, because now we can jump to our next segment of recommended readings. And Uncle Gary, you're going to go first on this one.
All right. Now let's get my clipboard. There we go. So, as we've seen, the Mera, Queen of Atlantis, it was a 6-issue mini, or you can get the trade, and that's just a great trade paperback. Sal referenced that fight with the eel, and she's recovering from that. There's interactions with the Ocean Master in this. It's a really interesting story, and this is taking place while she's been kind of exiled from Atlantis by the Crown of Thorns that she was trying to break through. So it was a great change of pace series where Aquaman's not in it. It's just Mera and how she deals with Orm and how she recovers from her injuries. And it's a really, Really good series, and she is just as regal and badass as she can be. The other thing I have there, it's a longer epic, but The Brightest Day, 1 through 24.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it, you should read it anyway, regardless of whether you're reading it from Mera. You should just read it. Of course, you need to read it after Blackest Night. And Mike, I think, was it Sal that mentioned the whole Blackest Night is one badass moment?
Yeah.
And it is. Brightest Day is full of badass moments, and really, there's a great Aquaman, Mera storyline. Also, Jackson, the newest Aqualad, is in it. You got Manta, you got Mera's sister Siren, and in this is where Mera reveals to Aquaman that when she came from Zebel, that he was, she came to assassinate him, and so that was introduced in that storyline. So just a lot of great things in that 24 issue storyline, and it's so much more than just Aquaman and Mera centric. The Hawks are in it frequently, Firestorm, Deadman, Hawk and Dove, just a really Martian Manhunter, just a fantastic series. Brightest Day is, and then Aquaman 6, Volume 7 is Dan showed the issue where she was using her aquakinesis powers, and her eyes are glowing, and she was getting ready to give some whoop ass, and that's the one where she it's just she gets arrested, and she has those interactions with those surface people, and talks shit while she beats them terribly and drains them and dehydrates them. But that was just a really good Mera centric issue. That's just it's a great one off.
Very cool.
So that does it for me.
All right, very good. All right, Dan. I'm sorry, Jamie. You are next. And there you are.
Oh, look. Everything's the same.
No, the trench is different. You have the whole storyline.
Well, the whole storyline is great, but really the center point was her being on land, trying to act like an everyday citizen, leading into the point of, everything that happened, especially with, like I said, the dehydrating the criminal. Like that whole part was just amazing. Like, there's a lot of things, I know Dan's gonna say it, that New 52 did wrong, but there's a lot of things they did right, and I feel like that was one of them for her.
That Aquaman series was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that it made me love Aquaman.
Yep.
So that got me definitely, and that was actually my real intro into most characters was through New 52. So that's why I started liking more and more. But yeah, Brightest Day. If you have not ever read this, you have to, even like Gary said, even if it isn't just for Mera herself, but everything. Like the culmination of Blackest Night to Brightest Day is just, to me, it should be on your must reads all the time.
I agree.
I agree.
Mera, Queen of Atlantis, just having her have her own solo series, like you can't not just put that up there. And the way it's portrayed, like you just see Mera for who she really is. And like Gary said, you got to check them out. Like there's not much more I can say that Gary did not cover on that.
Yep.
Sorry.
You're good. No, hey, you made my job easy tonight.
Yeah. And guess what? My job's it makes mine even easier because
there we go.
And
just
for
to let
everything
everybody know, we don't really talk that much about what we're picking beforehand. So if all of us have the same general consensus, like definitely you might want to check these out.
Yep. I would say the only time I really change something is a cover. When if everybody has the same cover, then I'll drop that cover for a second cut type of thing. But for the stories, I could not go with these. And for everybody said, they're just amazing. They're really good stories. You have to read them.
And I agree with you, Sal. The covers all change around just because if I know somebody's going to pick another one, I want to give a wider breadth of covers so people can see some cool covers. Right. But the stories, I don't change the stories because if we all like the stories, those are the stories we want people to read.
Read something.
And that whole trench storyline was so great. I mean, trench, those are great villains. I mean, wow. Right?
Yeah,
it's a horror movie. It's a horror movie. It's great.
Literally, like from beginning to end, it is just like
I totally agree. All right, Dan, let's see what you got.
Different.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a bit different. I mean,
that's what I was thinking about. Thank you, Dan, for having that Drowned Earth. I couldn't remember what the name was.
So, you guys all covered Mera, Queen of Atlantis, pretty well. Yeah, Drowned Earth. It was a crossover between Aquaman and Justice League. If I remember right, it was something that was actually a storyline that was supposed to have been done years before, and for whatever reason, it wasn't. And then they finally did it. But it's Mera plays a very prominent role in that story, and it leads, it's something that leads her into having a lot of badass moments, having a lot of some kick-ass fights, and leads her into becoming the ruler of Atlantis. And it's one of those stories where she's part of it, but it's not like she's just there. She's very primary to the whole thing. And then Aquaman Volume 1 issues 58 and 60, and then 62. This was, unless I'm mistaken, this was really the first time that she kind of had her own story separated from Aquaman. This is after Black Manta had killed Aquababy.
Yep.
And 58, 59, and 60, Mera is the backup story where she's going. And this is before they changed her origin, where she came from Zebel. She was going after a scientist named Zebel, who had a machine that could, help save the baby's life. And she's going to free him and find this machine and all that. And then she gets back just, to find out that while she was gone, the baby died. And she wasn't in 61. And then in 62, she's in the full story, where she's, kind of blaming Aquaman. She's like, you did, it's your fault. And,
yeah.
Like I said, it's, unless I'm mistaken, this is, those backup stories are the first time that she was really, the primary character in a story on her own without being just her and Arthur.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
I don't have any other recollections of her having any previous solo stories.
Yeah, and then it shows, the lengths as a mother, the lengths that she'll go to try and save her child.
That cover to 62, where she's it's a Jim Aparo cover, and they're at the grave, the headstone for the child, and she is just yelling at him, pointing at him, blaming him, and his head's down. That's just a heartbreaking cover.
Yeah. Aparo does some good stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There we go. All right. So, moving on to our next segment now, which is Best Writer and Artist. Uncle Gary, you got the floor. You can go first on this one.
Oh,
my God.
Oh. Wait.
You need your guys for this one.
Oh, man. Chris.
Wow.
That is inappropriate.
Can I fire someone in the chat?
Inappropriate child cannibalism. So, as far as favorite writer, I have what happened in the New 52 that Jeff Johns did for this character. He elevated Aquaman and Mera highly, and I think that he deserves a lot of kudos for that. And he's got to be my favorite writer on that. And as far as artist, before I say my thought, I do want to give a lot of love to Nick Cardy. There was a beautiful Nick, who created this character. There's a beautiful Nick Cardy cover. I'm going to say it was Aquaman. I want to say number 40. And the reason I didn't use it was because it showed her as a damsel in distress. But it is so beautiful, and it is number 40, and it says Aquaman, and she's saying, "Help save me, please." And it's just this ethereal image of her, and then her long flowing hair, and Aquaman's caught up in the tendrils of it. It's a very symbolic cover, where it's not a literal cover, where he's on the search for Mera. But Nick Cardy drew her so beautifully. I give him credit. Jim Aparo drew her very fiercely, and tough, but again, New 52, Ivan Race, what he did, I thought he drew her the best that I've seen anybody draw her. I really love. Yeah, there you go. That's a gorgeous cover. I mean, look at that. That is just beautiful. But because it showed her as a damsel in distress, that's the reason I didn't use it. But man, that is, that's just an amazing Aquaman cover. So thank you for showing that. But it's Ivan Reyes for me. So that New 52 team really, really kicked ass with that book and with that art. So those are my two.
Very good. Good picks. All right, Jamie, what do you have?
Gotta go with my dream team every time, Johns and Reyes. You can't, no matter what book they're on, whether it's Green Lantern, whether it's All Black as Night, whether it's Hyde Street or Aquaman itself, those two knock it out of the park. They have such a good chemistry. It's hard not to pick them if they're on the same book.
Pam, you are right. That is so good.
Very good. Very good. And excellent picks, Jamie. Excellent picks. Dan, why don't you go ahead and give us yours?
No.
Okay. Moving on.
No, I mean, it's a broken record. I picked Johns and Reyes as well. I think Mera clearly as a character had been around for a long time. Before that, created in 1963, but I don't think that she really rose to become the character that we know her today until Johns got a hold of her, because in the original run, she was, like Gary said, she was just kind of there, she was clearly created as the intent of, let's give Aquaman a wife, and and then she disappeared for long periods of time. She popped up in the Peter David book for a little bit, but it wasn't really until John started writing her as part of the book that she was like, all right, she's here and she's here to stay, and she's not just gonna fade away for years and then pop up for an issue or two.
I will say that the Aquaman run that Peter David had, he was after he left, Larson came on, and then at some point after Larson, Dan Jurgens started writing it, and Mera was back in the fold, and he started writing her pretty regally too. So Jurgens did her justice, and I think that Johns just took it from there, and really, really brought her to the forefront.
Yep.
And then Reyes, I mean,
that
guy's he's such a good artist. He's so, it's one of those ones, I know Jamie gets upset sometimes when if we're doing an X-Men, he's like, you can't just pick John Byrne or Jim Lee to be the best artist on him every time. But Reyes,
it's always Perez. We can always pick for.
But
it could have been picked today.
Reyes is one of those artists. Like, if he has a decent run on a character, it's if he's not going to be your top artist for whoever the character is, he's going to be close to the top, because his stuff is just fantastic. It gets better year after year.
Absolutely.
Very true. Very true. All right. So to give you my guys, I went with Jeff Johns and Reyes as well, but I do want to give a shout out to Aparo, and I do want to shout out Land Medina, who did the Queen of Atlantis miniseries as well. I like them as well, so I have to give them a shout out as well. But yep, I went with Reyes and Jeff Johns as well, for everything that you guys said. Everything you guys said, 100% on. I can't add to that whatsoever.
Well, it was a hell of a team, and we all picked their storyline too. So
yep. All right, this goes ahead, and we can wrap this one up, put it to bed, call it a night. Folks in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. Jamie's already out. Wake up, Jamie!
We're up at 4 in the morning every day.
Look at the end show. Hey,
if we were to give her another book, who would you want to see as the creative team on it?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Who would I want to see on that?
Ooh. I would go with Dan Waters. And I'd like to see Stegman.
Because his last name is Waters.
But I'd like to see Stegman do it too.
Stegman would be good.
So I'm going to take the Waters thing and say for art, not water, but land. Greg Land.
Greg Land, yeah.
That's a good one. I'll be seeing him at 62 this year.
What'd you say?
I said I'll be meeting him at C2E2 this year.
Oh man,
There you go.
yeah, I met him. For what a great artist. And Mera is a porn star. Can't go wrong, right?
Gail Simone, I think, would be a good writer for her.
Oh, good pick, Dan. Good pick. I think so too.
What about the Simonsons? I would go for that.
I think that would be awesome too. That'd be a great team.
Yeah, or if you wanted to go more lighthearted approach, Amanda
Peach
Conner and what?
I said Peach Momoko.
Oh, no. I was just saying, like, if you wanted to go, if you wanted to go like Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, and have them do with her what they did with like Harley or what they did with Power Girl, something a little more lighthearted. Even though she is a serious character, I think there is the potential there too. That especially with putting up with some of Aquaman stuff and ruling Atlantis, there's some comedy there that could be tapped.
Well, you know what? And they could do a good job because Power Girl is a very serious character. And they made her have comedic moments.
Yeah.
So
I got one more to throw out for artists. I would love to see Chichetto.
Yeah.
The way he did Mary Jane and Ultimate Spider-Man, I would love to see him draw Mera.
that would be excellent.
That would.
As long as Zeb Wells doesn't get his hands anywhere near, the first thing he'll do is break them up.
Yeah.
Well, that's Quesada.
And then still try to figure out what Arthur did.
Yeah.
What did Arthur do?
And you know what? Atlantis is missing? Maps. Atlantis needs some maps.
I wouldn't know where to go.
Yep. Sardiscus. Yeah. Sardisky. Yep. Very good, Boosh. Sardarsky.
I feel like that'd be too tough.
Very good, Boosh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we can go ahead and wrap this one up. I'm your host, Alan Slime Guy. Down below is Dan the Man Kelly. Right there's the Ric Flair of comics, and of course, J-Dub, the master builder himself. Thank you once again for joining us tonight on Comic Character of the Week as we talked about Mera. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Come back next week. We're going to be talking about Kang the Conqueror.
Not the one that got his butt kicked.
Check out the
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Check out the socials this week because we will be announcing our first giveaway of the year.
There you go. Check all our socials. That's Facebook, Instagram. It's going to be all over the place.
And that will run until the 1st of
No, we just set up a new Instagram, so go give it a follow. Posting multiple times every day.
There you go.
You're welcome.
We love you too, Chris.
Love you too, Chris.
Love you, Chris.
Yep. You're going to go crazy.
Go crazy. Absolutely, Boosh. Thanks for joining us.
All right, then, folks. We will see you next week. Take care. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot.